Hello, my name is Faust4712, and this is my GDQ 2019 submission for Captain America and the Avengers on the Sega Genesis. This is for the race with LRock. He submitted this and threw up the option that this could be a potential race, and I'm here to solidify that. Okay. So, this is a classic beat 'em up from around 1992 or 3, and it was released on the Sega Genesis as a port of the arcade game Captain America and the Avengers, which was really popular. As we can see through this, we're going to do it on the hard mode. That's just the beat the game percentage just on hard, but we choose Captain America every single time. So here's the first stage coming up. Alright, so first let this guy come through, all these people, but we use manipulation here. We let these guys come through and then we do a sliding dash, which is just hitting left or right twice. It's like your typical run strat, but Captain America actually does damage on the slide. All the characters do damage on the slide. But where Captain America is OP is in his shield. It can do damage on the way back and on the way front, so you can potentially hit enemies twice, and it does a lot of damage, especially his jump with the shield, which is like the short jump. The short jump with the shield is really powerful. You'll see us exploit that a lot. So these guys are pretty simple. See, there's the short jump. Sometimes that guy will get out of the pattern. You can normally stack the enemies on top of one another and then just keep hitting in the same pattern, and it's quick, easy kills. So here, do the same thing, do the slide dash. Watch out for the laser guy right here. He gets me every time sometimes. Every time sometimes. Get the health from Quicksilver. So it's a pretty straightforward speed run. It's more skill based than anything. As with most beat 'em ups, you kind of just got to know the patterns of where the enemies are going to come in and how to take them out efficiently, quickly. Alright, so here's the first boss. Get him with the shield a bunch till he goes away. If he gets close, just do the short jump, takes him down. And like that. Captain America and the Avengers, Stage 1, done. Normally there's a little music cue here. The music in this is great, but I'm just afraid of copyright stuff, so we go with copyright-free music in the background. Take out those guys with the shields, or you can do other alternative ways. That was just fastest for me. These guys can slip you up too, but if you get it just right, you'll have them in the same pattern as those last wave of enemies, so they can just get down really quickly and easily. So this is a more marathon safe run. We're going to be shooting for the 25-minute mark. I think this run comes in at 25:20, but it's only my second full complete playthrough. I've attempted it 8 times, completed it twice, and this was the second time. Since then, I have completed it way many times, and 25 minutes seems to be the best estimate for this race, but because of that, I'm going to use this PB instead of my current PB. Alright, so this is just another rail level. This would be a great time for donations and just generally explaining a few more mechanics of the games, how we use different parameters and scalings of where the enemies are going to fire their weapons or where their trajectories are, so we don't get in the way, or if we can get in the way and exploit them. So you normally at this point you can only just hit one button and it's like back and forth shield motion, but if you just quickly tap ABC with 3 fingers, or in unison AB, it goes pretty fast like that, and then it makes these stages a lot more easy than usual. because there's quite a few of these rail levels as per usual with Sega games back in the day. Seem to be quite a many rail levels on Sega Genesis games. That little W right there actually gives us Wasp for a brief moment, which she creates a slight invincibility shield, and you can also hit A, B, and she can like dash forward and do a lot of damage to enemies, but we don't utilize her because there's an extra like 30-second window near the end of the level where she'll have to have this animation and saying goodbye to Captain America and your players, and we don't use that. We just skip that because that's a waste of time. This is one of the longer stages of the game, but has quite a few interesting enemies in it. Alright, so coming up right now is the mini boss of this level. It's a giant sentinel / robot. I used to call him a sentinel. But just do the same thing, spam your shield, kind of dodge his attacks or his trajectories. It's okay if you get hit once or twice, it doesn't really matter. But try and avoid the fist right there, because then he grabs you and it's a bunch of struggle animations for about 30 seconds, and that's just something you don't really want to... You can mash to get it out of it sooner, but sometimes it doesn't really work. Finicky game, as such with arcade ports to the Genesis. Take out these guys, they're annoying. They'll come and grab you and you have to do those struggle animations, but you can take them out easily with the shield. These guys are pretty straightforward. So it's pretty much like a set... For each player, it's unique. You can use the same character, but since there's a bunch of different subsets of moves and ways you can take out enemies, each player can run this game very uniquely and differently. And as you'll see, my run is different than LRock's, his run is different than McTroll's, and all three of our runs are actually vastly different than one another, but it still gets around the same relative time frame of when to complete the game. So it's just an interesting way to look at how this game is. So right here is a little trick. If you just go in the corner and gather all these blue guys over here and just kind of spam attack them, normally there's a laser guy that'll come up from the left side of the screen and he'll just start blasting on you. But for some reason, if you do it over in that corner, it'll sometimes make him despawn. Now, sometimes he will still spawn, but it's a pretty consistent despawn method by using that corner. So here's Reaper. One of my favorite dialogues. You came here to die. But we spam our short jump, the shield jump, when he goes and hovers like that. Here's a little glitch that I found. If you do a full kick and get his health down, you have to wait till he's actually back on the ground again in order for him to die, even though his health is all the way down, as you'll see. But that was an extra 20 seconds that was unnecessary. That was just a glitch that happened during then. So normally he would just die right as his health gets down. So here's scene 3, stage 3. Take out these guys with the shield or in shield jump. Kind of watch yourself with the enemies that flow in the air because they do that. Now, if I remember correctly in this PB, my fight with this mini boss isn't that good. He's kind of a troll to me, but that's because at this point I didn't really know how to manipulate and get his pattern down, but now that I do, it's a lot more easier. Like, normally you would get that, do a shield jump, get him back, do a shield jump. Here we just kind of get finagled around and he whoops us, but we take it. Sometimes things like this will happen during marathons, so we just got to adjust to it and go with the flow. And as you'll see, after he kills us, we'll recover real good. So sometimes, you know, this is the hardest level setting for this game, which for someone that played it as a kid, I never could get past the first stage on hard as a kid. And so now coming back to it 20 some years later and beating it on hard in a relatively fast time is quite an accomplishment for myself that I'm quite proud of. So there are some deaths to be expected is what I'm trying to say. So it's a unique game that it breaks it up into half side-scrolling, half beat-em-up, half like rail shooter. It's almost like Marvel truly wanted to utilize all the different game tropes of the day and mix them into one. And I see that they kind of pulled it off successfully with this game. So coming up is the second half section of the underwater thing. We'll have Submariner come in and he'll take out some of the enemies at Onslaught if you don't get them fast enough. See? Boom, 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 boom. Submariner. Most useless Marvel character. Prince Namor ain't that bad, though. He gets a bad rap, but, I mean, he's just kind of like, eh. Here's the second mini-boss. This is like an octopus machine guy. And he'll shoot lasers in a specific line pattern, and then he'll have his arms twirling around. If you get caught, you get struggled animation like that. But you can just mash out of it. Oh, we got hit twice. The object is to try and not get hit a lot. So he's done. So when you first fall down, there's a bunch of laser guys there, and if you're not quick on your feet, they can just destroy you a bunch. So what I usually do is I shield down as soon as I get in there, and then that usually takes out the guy on the right, and then I just turn around and take the guys out on the left, as you saw. Take those guys out. Those guys actually die if you pick them up and throw them in one swipe, but I didn't know that at this time. I figured that out after talking to a few of the runners and watching their videos and figuring it out. So alright, and so here's the final boss of Stage 3. So what you do here is you just spam your shield jump and back and forth, and you get them good in a cycle, and what normally would be about a 2-minute boss fight for a normal person just playing and figuring it out turns into a 30-second fight. Red skull for us. But yeah, during all the rail points, the rail shooting points, those are all great incentive, or donation points, so you can have a lot of donation call-outs during that point. We could also have incentives for picking characters, see who does that, but it might increase the time based on each character. We usually just go with Cap because of the shield being so powerful. Okay, so this one is Stage 4. This one is a little difficult of a stage. Some buffed out hug guys. I call them bear hug guys. Oh, he got us good. We were doing it all right. All right, so after these guys is another mini boss. It's the Juggernaut robot. he's not really the Juggernaut, but he looks like the Juggernaut, and he's a robot or android. I don't know. Either way, he does a lot of damage. So he died here again. Like I said, death's to be expected, but a lot more ironed out as of late. And here he is, the robot Juggernaut. And we just spam the shield jump. Oh, struggle animation. Okay, so yeah, once the robot Juggernaut is done, you just go through and clean up the guys. On our way to Ultron. I think we're going to take another death here because I messed up a lot, but it's okay. And here's Ultron. Now there's a specific pattern. You gotta wait till he has like the noise of his blaster come out and it goes a certain distance, and then you can do a short jump on him. That's the pattern we try and get, but sometimes it doesn't work out, and you hit him like that with the large kicks, and then he just goes in the middle. And you want to try and keep him away from the middle of the level as much as possible, because once he does get there, he does that overblast attack, and it's devastating. That's that overblast attack. So yeah, it is what it is. Great fight though. And the fact that Marvel Cinematic Universe movies seem to be pretty popular. This is a good game just to showcase how things used to be in the 90s. Get that nostalgia vibe in there. He's done. Alright, the last level, stage 5, the end of Red Skull. More rail shooting right here, so you can have more donations be read off. I think this is like a total of 3 minutes. Yeah, I think so. It's quite a long rail level, but this actually is quite a long level in general. But we manage. So same strats, just alternating A and B, or all three ABC, ABC, ABC. Another reason why I wanted to overdub this is with commentary is because in my PB video, all you hear is a bunch of clicking and clacking from my controller from how much I'm spamming them. And it gets kind of annoying to hear that. And if you're low on health like I am, there's a few instances of health packs that come through, and you pick those up. You try and pick up the health as much as possible, even if we don't take as many hits, because it's always good to have a lot of health. I think at some points you'll see us have an excess of 100, so we'll have like 120, 125, something like that. which was really cool to see back then. At least in my opinion. There's a 3. Usually that's a good sign of when the time frame of when this is done. So now we wait for the moon beam to come. There's a giant laser beam on the moon that the Red Skull is trying to use to destroy the Earth. Hold the Earth for ransom. Destroy it now. Once again, the audio in this game is just so funny. The dialogue, the voices are so good. Very 16-bitty. Yep, and as per usual, it's just an onslaught of enemies. Just take them out, try and not get hit. If you do, you just kind of adjust and go accordingly. Here's another mini-boss. These two twin android dudes with buzzsaws coming through. What we normally try to do is keep them together in that pattern, and then we do the short shield jumps on them, but here I messed up and I had to adjust accordingly. As you can see, try and get them back in that pattern. Stacked up on one another and then doing the same things over and over again. There we go. That's it. Yes. Alright. A few more enemies, and then we got Crossbones, who is technically the boss of this section, but he's the second mini-boss because we have the Red Skull to defeat in this level. And as you can see, I did not adjust accordingly to this. It'll go a lot smoother. There we go. Alright, so here's Crossbones. Just try and escape his knives or use the shield. At this point I didn't know how to do the shield block, but subsequently have learned it since. So, but yeah. Here I took a death on purpose so I could be at more health, just in case, because I knew that it was coming to an end. I didn't expect that bomb to hit me again, so that's where I took my damage and was like, oh no. But that's the end of Crossbones, and here's the Red Skull. So this is the last leg of the game in the battles. And you take out these enemies. It's only a short wave of enemies. Few laser guys and extended arm guys, normal gray guys, some muscle men robots. And then now we're on to the Red Skull. So normally what we do for this point is he was supposed to get hit again with the shield, and it would have knocked him back, and then you would have hit him again with the shield, and then if he got close, you do the short shield jump. But for some reason, he didn't get knocked back by the shield throw on this turn. So you adjust accordingly, you get him back into the positions you want, you take him down, you say night night Red Skull, and then you come to find out, wait a second, that really wasn't him. And it's a super Red Skull android robot. And for him, all we do is we spam the short shield jump right in front of him. That's it. Quickest way to take him out. Sometimes you'll get hit once or twice, maybe a tornado in there. But you adjust and take him out like that. Alright, and that is Captain America and the Avengers in 25 minutes and 21 seconds. Like I said, drastically improved. This is a submission for the race with LRock, and I hope you all appreciated it and enjoyed. And yeah, so have a good night. Thank you for watching the submission video.